You can recite with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So welcome dear devotees to chapter a day Bhagavad Gita, and today's verse is verse number 20. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayah lokasangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. Synonyms: karmana, by work; eva, even; he, certainly; samsiddhim, in perfection; asthitaha, situated; janaka adaya, janaka and other kings; loka sangraham, the people in general; evapi, also; sampashyan, considering; kartum, to act; arhasi, you deserve. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kings such as Janak attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Purport. Anyone would like to read? Or I can read? Is there a volunteer?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, sure, Mataji.
Right. Kings like Janaka were all self-realized souls. Consequently, they had no obligation to perform the prescribed duties in the Vedas. Nonetheless, they performed all the prescribed activities just to set example for the people in general. Janaka was the father of Sita and father-in-law of Lord Sri Ram. Being a great devotee of the Lord, he was transcendently situated. But because he was the king of Mithila, a subdivision of Bihar province in India, he had to teach his subject how to perform prescribed duties. Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the Lord's eternal friend, had no need to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, but they fought to teach people in general that violence is also necessary in a situation where good arguments fails. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid the war, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the other party was determined to fight. So for such a right cause, there is a necessity for fighting. Although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced person in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow. And this is explained in the following verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. What a beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So my question is, if anyone would like to say that who is a self-realized soul? Because in the last 3 verses, Srila Prabhupada has beautifully explained in the purport 17 to 19. Anyone would like to say who is a self-realized soul? What are his few qualities?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, Premila Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Is it one who realizes that, Krishna is the supreme and the importance of a devotional life, and then he has follows this devotional life and gains the knowledge from the scriptures, and then he inherits all these wonderful divine qualities? Is that it?
Okay, yes, Mataji, in the right direction. Yes, of course. There is a bit more to this. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, Venkat Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think maybe I can add 2 points to that. I think who easily have a trust on Krishna and surrenders for everything to Krishna. And second thing is whatever the person does, he or she does, to please Krishna, to satisfy Krishna's senses, or maybe for satisfying Krishna.
Very nice. Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Very good. Okay, so just to summarize, yes, absolutely right, both Mataji and Prabhuji, that self-realized soul, actually he is a very, very advanced soul. Apart from what you both described, a bit more to this is that he is a person who has completely surpassed the stage of performing Nishkam Karma Yoga. So higher than Nishkam Karma Yoga is the person who is in complete knowledge of Krishna, like a Gnani Yogi, Gnani, and he is totally detached. He has basically no purpose, no obligation, no duty. He is completely independent of any other living being or even demigods. So that's explained also in verse 18. So that is a self-realized soul who is Atmarati, who takes pleasure in himself, who is Atmatrupta, self-illuminated, self-satisfied, Atma-santushta. He has no material desire, hence he has no purpose of doing any activity. He has nothing to do with matter. And Atmaram. Rama means reservoir of all the pleasures. So he is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied. He is Atmarati. So this is a self-realized soul. Now, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada, after explaining this, Arjuna has questions in his mind, and Krishna, knowing Arjuna's mind, Arjuna thinks, so is there such a person who has no purpose, who is beyond Nishkam Karma Yoga, but still he wants to do his duty just to set an example for people in general. So this is like a very noble task, isn't it? For example, before we move on to who is a Mahajan, say for example, a simple example I will give is a teacher. What does a teacher do? A teacher, say, for example, teaches to the nursery children A, B, C, D. She's writing on the blackboard and she's teaching. Does that mean she herself does not know A, B, C, D? No, she knows very well, but she's teaching the children. It's such a noble task. She's teaching them. She would also sometimes, when child doesn't understand, go to the child, hold the hand and say A. She will also utter and show how to write. So this is to teach someone. In the same way here, Srila Prabhupada says that Janaka Maharaj is such a self-realized soul and he is a Mahajan. Now there are 12 Mahajans and we will move on to the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam from 6th canto. But before that, I just want to say that a Mahajan is a completely liberated soul. He's a already liberated soul in the past, but still he is engaged in discharge of duties allotted to him by Krishna to set the example for people. He is an actual representative of Krishna. He is a pure devotee. He is eternal associate of Lord in his Leela. And so he is a pure devotee. He need not do anything. He has no obligation. But because he is in love with Krishna, he loves Krishna, his life and soul is all about acting for Krishna. So such a devoted soul, this verse is actually very, very powerful because here Krishna has given two examples. One is himself and one is Janak Maharaj. And even in the middle of the purport, we can see that Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna and Arjun both, they did not have to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. But they still fought because, Duryodhan refused to give land and he completely refused to come to any terms. So then Krishna says, fine, we will meet in the battle of Kurukshetra. So that's what happened. They have to do their duty and they have to do violence where it is necessary to set the religious principles for the sake of dharma. So here we can see that the summary of 17 to 19 is that a self-realized soul need not work. He has no duty, no obligation, no dependence on other living being or demigods, yet he works. He is Atmarati, Atmatrupta, Atmasantushta, Atmaram, who acts in Krishna consciousness. Now, this leads to verse 20. Arjuna wonders if there are any examples of persons who attain God consciousness by Karma Yoga, and thus Krishna gives two powerful examples. One of them is Janak Maharaj. And there are three main points in this purport. Because we cannot cover all the verses that are related to this purport, I have put them on the slide, so you can always go back and read on them. They are very, very beautiful purports and translations from third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And also there is a beautiful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. And there he has also mentioned Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 17.186, which gives us more information about Mahajan and why he is doing his duty to set the right example. So moving on, there is... after this, Janak Maharaj, the second point we will see is about Lord Krishna and Arjuna, that they are fighting this battle. Although Arjuna was detached from kingdom, remember in previous verses he has told that he wants to completely renounce, he wants to go and beg. But no, even if you're renouncing kingdom, you cannot go and beg Arjuna, because his psychophysical nature is that of Kshatriya. So in any other situation, he would fight for justice. So he's not mentally renounced. He's still dwelling on the mental plane as a Kshatriya to fight for religious principles. So he should do his duty. And people will not see that he was compassionate and detached. That's why he left the battlefield, but they will see him as a coward and irresponsible towards citizens. Hence, a noble leader must set a good example, and thus Arjuna needs to do his duty. And lastly, we will see the third point, that Krishna conscious person still works to teach public how to live and how to act. So there is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6:30, 20 and 21. Swayambhur Narada Shambhu Kamara Kapilo Manu Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakirvayam Dvadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhataha Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Gnatva Amrutamashnute. Translation: Lord Brahma, Bhagwan Narad, Lord Shiva, four Kumaras, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Sukadev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So here this verse beautifully explains the very highly advanced souls, these Mahajans. And Srila Prabhupada also explains that Mahajan is authority on devotional service. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that whatever this Mahajan says on devotional service is accepted as fact. Certainly liberated soul and on a very highest level, really, basically very high level, because they are liberated souls, but they are engaged in their service for Krishna by doing certain duties to set the right example. And so many of these Mahajans, we can see that they are Grihastha. Who are Grihasthas from here? Janak Maharaj is Grihastha, Bali Maharaj. And we can see there are many other also who are not even Mahajan, but they are on the same level. Prithu Maharaj, there is Prahlad Maharaj here. They are all Grihasthas and they have set the right example. And then there is a beautiful, there are quite a lot of stories here actually that I wanted to discuss. The stories are the best way to put the idea into perspective and to understand. So we can see that there is Janak Maharaj here. And what happens once is that Janak Maharaj, a lot of Brahmanas and renunciants, they come to Janak Maharaj and they want to do a check on him. Because even though Janak Maharaj is a very powerful king, very opulent, very wealthy, unrivaled king, he had lots and lots of opulence and so many queens and servants and ministers. So this sages thought that how can he be detached, living in this opulence and wealth? Let's go and check on him. So let's test him. So they go and ask for his audience. And they were having this conversation on philosophical questions on detachment and renunciation. And a long discussion is going on. Now, in the middle of this discussion, Janak Maharaj, minister comes and he whispers in the ear of Janak Maharaj. He says, "Oh, my dear king, your treasury is on fire." Janak Maharaj says, "I am in the middle of a very important, serious discussion, and these saintly people are sitting here. I cannot offend or insult them by suddenly getting up. I value their renunciance, so therefore you go and address the issue. I will come later." So he's completely detached. His whole treasury and wealth is on fire, but he gives importance to these sages and the renunciants, that he has to sit with them completely calm and he has to be very respectful. That is his duty. And at the same time, minister is there. Everybody has gone to take care of what is happening. Now, after some time, what happens is this minister returns. And he loudly says this time that, "O king," he publicly announces that the fire has now spread into the kingdom and it has spread everywhere around the kingdom. Now, the sages, when they came, they were given the huts, as we can see in the picture, to live, because they are simple. So they live in the hut. And what happened is, when they heard this, that the fire has spread, they immediately got up and they ran towards their huts to save whatever little belongings that they had. Now, this story is quoted here to highlight who is really detached. Not those renunciants who are externally showing it off, but it is Janak Maharaj who is internally detached. So detachment is all about internal, your consciousness. And it does not mean that you are detached means you don't do your duty. You do it responsibly. But at the same time, you do not have anything to do with matter, or you do not have any undue desires. And After there is also one more beautiful story. Let's see if we have time meanwhile. So Janak Maharaj did not have any obligation because he was self-realized soul and he attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. And so he was setting the right example for his citizens. As the king of Mithila, he had to teach his subjects how to perform prescribed duties. And Krishna says, therefore, that perform your work just for educating the people in general. Now, Arjuna preferred to beg than fight due to fear of reaction to action. Say, for example, if you're chopping vegetables and there is a sharp knife and you think that there is a chance that I will cut my finger or I'll hurt my finger, and because of that reaction, you don't chop vegetables, you don't do the action altogether. Is that right? No, not really. You take care and you do your duty. You have to do it. So here Krishna says in the same way that better you do your prescribed duty of Kshatriya with knowledge and detachment and offer the results to me and set the right example for people in general. And that way you will elevate your own position. And also in Bhagavad Gita 4.15, the translation is, all the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So here also in this verse, Krishna has clearly says in chapter 4 that you just do your duty and follow in the footsteps of the leaders. Now, Krishna need not do anything either, does he? Krishna is completely above, he is beyond, he is liberated. But even Krishna sets the right example, right? What he does as he is living in Vrindavan as a Vaishya, he is mending the cows and calves. In Dwarka, he is a householder, he is a king, he has children, he has family, he's looking after all of, he wakes up early, he gives lots of respect and receives all the sages like Narada Muni and gives them lots of respect and welcomes them nicely. And here we can see he's himself washing feet of his Brahmana friend Sudama with his own hands. And Rukmini ji is doing chamar and offering all the worshipable paraphernalia. So we can see here even Krishna himself is doing his duty to set the example, because if Krishna does not do it, then what would happen? The people will also not do, and that will be a big chaos in the world. So here, that's how Krishna explains that even I need not do anything, but still I do it. And finally, there was one actually a German visitor who comes to India. And so once he comes to India and for the first time, and he said that here people worship so many gods, and some worship Shiva, Ganesha, Hanumanji, Durga Devi, Lord Rama, and he wanted to see who is real God. So he visited different temples. Now, finally, he concluded that Krishna is supreme God. Krishna is the boss. He is supreme. So then someone asked him, how you concluded that Krishna, because he does not have any knowledge, does he? He's not read Vedas. So he said that when I went to Durga temple, I saw that Durga Devi is having 8 hands and she is holding different weapons. When I went to Shiva temple, I saw Lord Shiva has trident in his hand and Hanumanji a mace, and other devtas, they're all holding weapons. All deities are holding different weapons. I see that Krishna is not holding any weapon. He is simply playing his flute happily. So he must be God. He is supreme, very relaxed, cool, and calm. He does not have to do a lot of hard work, it looks like. And so in this way, the German visitor concluded that Krishna need not do anything, and thus he is God. So Krishna is not Vaishya, Brahmana, Kshatriya, but to set an example to common people. As a Kshatriya, we can see that he represents Brahmana, Vaishya, he tends cows, he wakes up early, all of this he does just to set the right example for people. And one should have a guru, right? That is the most important thing in Krishna consciousness. So even Krishna had a guru. Would anyone like to say what is the name of Krishna's guru?
Sandipani Muni.
Sandipani Muni.
Yes, Rupa Mataji and one more Mataji. Yes, thank you so much. That's absolutely right. So this is how we can see, and due to lack of time, I'm not able to tell 2 more stories, but maybe next time. And we can see here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna need not do any duty, but to set the right example, he came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach how to perform bhakti. Even to be how to act in Krishna consciousness, how to be a wonderful, true, real, pure devotee. Even for that, Krishna is so merciful. He comes and he shows by his own example. Thus, it is very clear from even this verse to Arjuna. Next verses, we will see there are more examples. Even for Lord Krishna, there are more things to learn. That how he sets the example. But here we can see that now Arjuna should be very, very clear that why he needs to do his duty. Because if he does, he cannot falsely, first of all, renounce, because he would be a pretender. Say, for example, you have lots of desires, but physically you renounce something. Now, Arjuna may not have, say, for example, there is somebody who's already got a degree. He need not write any exam, but he still writes the exam. So that's what Krishna is saying, that fine, you're already holding a degree, but you still write the exam, to show the people in general that even though you are liberated, you have come here in this material world, you are put in the body of a Kshatriya, you will do your duty perfectly. Like how Janak Maharaj was a king and a householder, he did his duty perfectly. Like that, everybody has to do their work and offer it to Krishna. Thus, there will not be any bondage. At the same time, you will not ignore your responsibilities either. And the third point in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has beautifully explained that although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced persons in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow. And here we can see how Srila Prabhupada is taking Jaladuta to go America. Before going, Srila Prabhupada was in a very, very comfortable situation, sitting in Vrindavan and doing his Krishna consciousness so beautifully, writing Bhagavatam. There was no need for him at this age to go to a cold country with no context there, nothing, hardly any financial assistance. There was no need at his age, but he did it. He had to set the example. He followed the instructions of his Guru Maharaj. That was his Nishkam Karma Yoga. So great souls, they do their duty to set the right example, because a leader has to follow by example. He cannot just say that do this. He has to show that he is doing it himself. Then people will trust and they will also follow. So this lovely letter from Srila Prabhupada to his disciple Rukmini Devi, Los Angeles, 22nd February 1970, Srila Prabhupada wrote, I am so happy to know that you are finding Krishna consciousness to be the sweetest thing in life. And actually it is so. Please continue your good service attitude more and more, and be certain to chant daily the 16 rounds of beads duly. And Krishna will surely bless you with better and better intelligence for advancing your Krishna consciousness. Always be sincere and eager to perform your duties allotted by the Lord to you, and be successful and joyful in your life. How Srila Prabhupada is inspiring thousands of disciples all over the world. So, true Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this verse, going back to the summary, we can conclude. And so this is the summary, 3 main points. Krishna has given an example of someone who is liberated. He's still doing his duty to set example is Mahajan Janak Maharaj. And then Lord Krishna and Arjuna himself, they are fighting in the battle of Kurukshetra to set the right example. Even here we can see Lord Krishna himself, he is a chariot driver. So he need not be, he is God. He need not take kicks from Arjuna in the battlefield, because Arjuna cannot say in the heat of the battle that my dear, oh dear Krishna, please turn right, or Lord Krishna, my friend, turn left. No, what he does is that he kicks him. We know this, right? On his lower back. Kicks on right means turn right, kicks on left, turn left, kicks in the center means go straight, and when he kicks hard means stop the chariot. So all day Krishna is taking these kicks, setting this example of how he is doing his duties. And then once when they had to kill Jarasandha on the battlefield, what happens is that they had to find Jarasandha, and he was in a corner of a battlefield. And so Krishna had to take the chariot all around the battlefield, scan the field to find him. And because it was so exhausting all day, the horses were very tired. So Krishna tells Arjuna that with your mystical weapons, I want you to make a wall of arrows. And so Arjuna does that, and then Krishna gets off the chariot, he massages the horses, feeds them water and food, whatever he could have on battlefield. And this is how he takes care of the horses. Krishna need not do this, he's God, but Krishna has set these examples by being a perfect chariot driver, by being a grihastha, by being, a kshatriya as a vaishya, and mending the cows in Vrindavan. He respects the gurus and all the sages who visit him. He wakes up early and does his sadhana. So this is the main theme of this verse: example of perfection achieved by a leader by performance of prescribed duties. And the two most powerful examples, Janak Maharaj and Krishna himself. So this should be good enough for Arjuna to be convinced to not give up his duty, because remember how did this chapter begin? Arjuna is confused in the first text whether Krishna, I should renounce or I should work. So in that direction, gradually Krishna is convincing Arjuna, helping him, enlightening him that please do not make the mistake of giving up your prescribed duty. So I will conclude here. Please, any question, comments, or corrections, I welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. This was a wonderful presentation, explanation, beautiful pictures, really nice. I thoroughly enjoyed it and understood, hopefully.
Thank you, Meenakshi Mataji, for your encouragement. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Any questions or comments or corrections? We have 2 minutes.
So we all have to learn from this example to do our prescribed duties.
Yes.
And hopefully advance in our spiritual life.
Absolutely. Yes, Meenakshi Mataji. That is the whole point, because Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, so many lessons to learn, and we are all trying. We are gathering here together every evening, and all glories to all of you that have you participate, and thank you so much for that in chat chapter a day Bhagavad Gita, which inspires also the speakers to try and share something. So thank you so much for that, for your wonderful service, for joining in.
And it's lovely that children, young children are making such effort. It's really heartwarming.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. They are reciting so beautifully, and they are the next generation. So we have to encourage them. Absolutely. So this Sangha is actually, in fact, it's across all the age group. There are children, and there is everybody else here also. So this is like a family now, that we have a beautiful gathering every evening and a spiritual Sangha. So that's really wonderful. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to him. And yeah, so if this verse is clear and if there are no more questions or comments, everybody's happy regarding verse 20, then we can
comments, Mataji, comments. I want to welcome you back to UK.
Thank you, Jolly Mataji. Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be back. And I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone at Bhaktivedanta Manor has opened up. I'm really looking forward to taking the darshan of the Lord and devotees for my own purification. I'm really looking forward.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Jolly Mataji. Yeah, really looking forward to meeting. If any of you come to Bhaktivedanta Manor, it will be really nice to meet up. Okay, so it seems like everybody is happy and satisfied with this verse. Then we will conclude with the Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Very nice class.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Nicely explained. So nicely
Hare
explained.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.